Another Dooley Noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Okay, and welcome into another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. We have a great show. Again, we're doing this on a Thursday, downloaded Thursday night, right? Jared producing, and we're going to do it this Thursday. We're not sure about next week, and we're not sure where we're going to go. We've gotten a little bit of feedback, and a lot of the feedback, almost all the feedback has been, yeah, we'd like to see it on Thursday because then we have time to listen to it before the weekend's events, and we may do that. I feel pretty sure we're going to do it during football season because I think that's where people really need it a day early. Today's show, so I figure if we're going to do it a Thursday show, let's have a great guest. So how about Trinity Thomas today? That'll be a pretty good guest. So we're going to have her on a little bit later. She'll join us on the Big Mills Cheesesteaks Zoom line. Coach Spurrier will be back with us Monday. Can I get better guests? Can anybody get better guests than those two back-to-back? But I did spend 2.5 hours yesterday on the phone with my brother on a FaceTime call, okay? I'm not wearing this in honor of Trinity Thomas, by the way. I've got arthritis in my hands. So I'm trying to wear it as much as possible. But anyway, I spent 2.5 hours getting ready for the golf tournament. And I think we've got it planned out pretty good. Still need a few things to come in. Still need a few issues with ice and stuff like that. But appreciate all of Gainesville and many of the people that we're going to go through on this list of all of our things that we do are big factors in this as well, and we appreciate them so much. Well, today, our starting lineup is going to be brought to you by Eige and Odell Realty. We're trying to revolve those around until I can get this sold, and I again, have made no effort to do it. I've just had a lot going on. This is a bad time of year for me and nobody else, where I've got to deal with this golf tournament, we're dealing with this, dealing with that, my house is being redone. There's a lot of things going on. Anyway, it's not that bad, though. But the Eige Odell Realty starting lineup will come to you right now. Number one, I like to refer to this, like some people say the Florida fan base is toxic. Some people call them Gidiots, which is a phrase I invented, Gator idiots. But what they really can be is something Spiro Agnew said back when he was being investigated and eventually convicted of taking bribes, and he was calling the media the nattering nabobs of negativity. That's a name that's stuck with me for my whole life. Nattering nabobs of negativity, if I want to talk about it. And that's what it's become with Florida. And the reason, and look, there's a reason. You've had 4 losing seasons in the last, what? So it'd be 10 years. 4 losing seasons at Florida. I agree. I understand why you're frustrated. You've had back-to-back losing seasons. Now, in the old days, you wouldn't have had back-to-back losing seasons because you wouldn't have been in a bowl game, because there were like 2 bowl games back in the old days. But the point is, it's getting really ugly. And then all of a sudden you see this thing come out where ESPN's FPI or whatever, again, it's just numbers, and it means nothing. Has Florida ranked 18th in the country? And I'm like, excuse me? 18th? I want to do the Chris Farley, with the eyeglasses. 18th in the country. Have you looked at their schedule by any chance? Have you know that they don't really know where their quarterback is? And so then I turn negative. And that's what I've discovered is what anybody says to me about Florida football and where they are and where they're going, if they say it negative, I tend to say it positive back. If they say it positive, I tend to say it negative back. I am just a contradictor. Is that a word? It is now. I just contradict whatever you want to say. The bottom line is Gator fans are not happy, and I get a full dose of it all the time. Golf course, still, and it's Kelsey too. That's perfect. And she doesn't even know that we're doing a show now and still called on during the show. And I thought I turned my phone off, but now I have. You do like the the ringtone, though. A little, Here Comes the Sun. All right. Where was I? Talking about Gator football. Look, it's going to get negative, and it's going to be negative right up until the first game. May get more negative after that. Just either you accept it, you argue about it, you get mad about it, or you say, hey, look, I'm going to be patient. What you do is your choice. This is still America, okay? Whatever you want to be, if you want to be somebody who thinks that they've screwed this whole thing up and it's not solvable, that's fine. That's your opinion. That's what it is. That's all it is, and it means nothing. Don't think you can affect change in terms of the coaching. That's the only thing I would say. I think a lot of fans think they are affecting the change. You're not affecting the change. Change is made. The last 3 coaches have been fired for good reasons. Okay, and before that, the last coach fired before that was fired for good reasons, and it was more than winning and losing. The point I'm trying to make is that this is going to be a long summer, guys. It's going to be a long summer. Just kind of enjoy your families. Don't worry about Florida football for a while, because I think they're going to be better than we think, and that's what I thought last year. And for a while I was right, and then I was really wrong. All right, let's get to number 2, and that is the baseball team up in Columbia, South Carolina. A big series, number 3 in the country. That'd be your Gators against number 6 in the country. That'd be their Gamecocks. Tuesday night, Florida won again. Caglione hit another ball. My wife is getting tired of this, though, but every time he hits a big homer, I run out and I go, look, there's a ball going by. When he hits. Well, actually, when he hit one in Knoxville, I said that to her. But big series, and of course, Florida will not have Brandon Neely for the series. But Florida has won 13 series in a row. Neely not being there is a factor, certainly. I think it's like when it happened. Let me put it to you this. This is what when people ask me about the whole Brandon Neely thing. When it happened, I went, oh, he threw him out of the game. I go, yeah, I kind of get it. That's how it affected me in real time. When I look back at it, no, he shouldn't have been thrown out of the game. Certainly shouldn't be out for 4 games, but that's a rule. But maybe the rules shouldn't be the same for a closer as it should be for a starter. If you're a starter and you get thrown out for 4 games, you miss a start. That's always been a weird part of baseball. But anyway, the bottom line is they're still going to play the games. 3 versus 6, it ought to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to watching that this weekend. Number 3 on the Eige Odell Realty starting lineup. Tiger Woods had surgery yesterday or maybe the day before, but that's when they released it, to repair a bone in his ankle. It is very complicated. It's weird that I saw Kevin Farmer, who was the SEC team physician of the year. Kevin Farmer, I follow, and as every doctor in Gainesville has done something to me, injected something into me or operated on me. But Kevin's a great guy, and he said, you don't go from plantar fasciitis to having this surgery, but when Tiger pulled out of the Masters, I was like, well, of course he did. He ain't going to walk that many holes on a wet course with his foot bothering him and his ankle bothering him, and he's pretty much done for the majors this year. I mean, he could come back, but I said this before. I think he's done. I don't think he's going to be competitive anymore, and it's a shame. It's a shame, but whose fault is it? It's his fault. So it's just the way it's worked out. But it certainly does change golf. I talked about this on the radio the other day, that Jordan Spieth, they had record numbers for the Heritage up at Hilton Head. And Spieth and Fitzpatrick were in a playoff. I watched it. It was fascinating. I think Spieth has a little bit of that Tiger in him. Nobody's going to ever have all the Tiger in him, where your grandmother wants to watch and she doesn't even like golf, but she's going to watch because Tiger's in there. Nobody's ever going to get to that point again, I don't think. It would take something really special. But I think Spieth is the one guy that can kind of get eyeballs to the TV set, and that's what golf needs right now. Now, we'll talk more golf a little bit later. Number 4, Scherzer ejected from a game. So they said he had foreign substance on his glove. All these things make me happy, being a Braves fan. But he said, now this is a great quote, "On my son's life, it's just rosin and sweat." Well, I'm sure his son went, "Whoa, are you sure you want to bet my life on that? Because I saw you, Dad, with some kind of Band-Aid substance." No, I'm just kidding. But the point is, the umpires it feels like, are taking over baseball. We saw it at the college level. We talked about it with Brandon Neely. We talked about the warnings and all that, and these umpires that just think they're bigger than the game, and we've seen it. I laughed about it. I'm sitting up there for the baseball game on Sunday, and somebody kept yelling out "Angel" to the home plate umpire, because Angel Hernandez is known as the worst umpire that ever lived, although I would go with Eric Gregg. But the bottom line is, people never like umpires. They never like referees. They never like officials. And that's part of the game. But it just feels like in baseball, like there's a lot of basketball referees that I used to not like, and now I realize they're really good at their job, and they're just doing their job. And just because they make a call you don't like doesn't mean they're doing a bad job. Baseball, you kind of go, oh, this guy is taking over the game. He's going to do this. I mentioned this, I think, Monday. The guy who was behind home plate was like a softball umpire. He called everything strike, which softball umpires do, which I hate. And I hated him that day. Anyway. So we'll see what happens with Scherzer. They'll appeal that. He said it was just rosin and sweat. There you go. That's how I used to grip the pommel bar, when I was a gymnast. like I ever get on that pommel horse and do anything gymnastically. I could barely even do dodgeball. So anyway, finally, number 5, I get back to college football because we're in summer loving season, which is what I call it. Coach Spurrier should have patented talking season. He would have made a fortune off of that. He wouldn't even need to open this restaurant. But I call it summer loving season because people fall in love with teams. And I warn people that this year, nobody's going to love, as I mentioned in the first segment, nobody's going to love Florida this year. Nobody's going to love them. That ESPN thing was just a mathematical thing that they probably skewed. But no media members, no TV guys, nobody's going to love Florida. And that's fine. I kind of like that they don't. When they got to 12 after they beat Utah, it was ridiculous. They weren't the 12th best team in the country. Have you watched them play? One game they played, and they probably should have lost it. So I calmed down, and then they lost the next game. But my point is not that. My point is get ready for the summer of Georgia and the summer of LSU, and that is not going to make you happy. There'll be some Tennessee love because people are now deciding that Joe Milton is the next Anthony Richardson, and I hope he is. I hope he goes 6 and 7 as a starter. That'd be great, but he's the same kind of athlete, has accuracy issues, And so Tennessee's going to get a lot of love, and LSU, everybody is in love because Jaden Daniels, who had a great year last year. But most people are saying, look, it doesn't matter whether Carson Beck sprains his ankle and is going to have a hard time moving around the pocket. He'll still be in the Heisman race because they're going to go undefeated. If you haven't looked at the schedule, we've talked about this before, their schedule is easier I would bet, than Colorado's, Florida A&M's, Sam Houston State. Trying to think of helmets we've got. Sacred Heart. It's the easiest schedule you could possibly get. And, of course, it would be hard if Florida was good. Then you have to play Florida and Tennessee. They got such an easy schedule. They're going to be in the Final Four. Just hope they aren't good there. But that's what you're going to be hearing all summer, and there's no reason to refute it. Look, they've got a pile of great players there. The kind of thing that Florida's trying to get and not even near. And when you talk about the differences between the two programs, Kirby's had this great run, and it's fueled by getting great players. Kirby Smart works harder than any man in America, but I think Napier works like maybe 1 second less hard. I mean, he's working just as hard. I mean, he's trying to do all these things. It's going to take him longer. It's going to take him some time. You know, Kirby did inherit a lot of great players. Nick Chubb, Sony Michel, all those guys. And that helped them get there earlier than Billy's going to get there. But that's what he's trying to do. They're all trying to build in the Saban philosophy, but maybe Napier's trying to build it in the Kirby philosophy. And it's working. And they're probably going to be they may win a third straight. I know, Gator fans. It's hard, man. It's hard. I understand. I feel your pain. And that fuels the first episode that we did today, or the first segment we did today, why Gator fans are mad. Because it's not just that they suck. It's that Georgia is in dynastic mode. Anyway. All right, that's going to do it for our Ben Eige Odell Realty starting lineup. We'll come back. It'll be my pleasure, believe me, to talk to our guest, the great, and I mean great, Trinity Thomas, here on another Dooley Noted podcast, presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from another Dooley Noted podcast. And this is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Brewer to go. What gave you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Rib Co. to go. Come on down and enjoy it.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Bite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
As the oldest Gator booster club in the world, Gainesville Quarterback Club gives you access to elite speakers like coaches, NCAA football insiders, Gator greats, and more, including yours truly. Share your passion for Gator football with hundreds of other members at weekly in-season meetings, home game tailgates, and special events throughout the year. Join the Gainesville Quarterback Club today. Trial membership until April 11th only, featuring Billy Napier and Tommy Townsend. Email the club at membership@quarterbackclub.org. That's membership@quarterbackclub.org, or call me, and I'll let you get to the right people. Another Duly Noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Celebration Point. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook and YouTube for every podcast that we do on Mondays and Fridays at 2 o'clock. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, any of the other 39 platforms where you can find this podcast or your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below or call me if you want to do some advertising at 352-317-3444.
Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton: taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life, and the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans.
Okay, welcome back to another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. It is a great pleasure to bring in on the Big Mills Cheesesteaks Zoom line a legend, one of the greatest athletes in the history of the University of Florida. And we're all cheering. And some of us, I'm not saying I was, but some of us were crying last Saturday when she finished perfect 10 that she got. Trinity Thomas joins us now. How are you, young lady? Are you feeling good?
Hi, I am feeling pretty good. Obviously, it's bittersweet finishing out my collegiate career, but what a way to go out. So,
yeah, I mean, obviously you want to go out with a championship. You did everything you could, with the injury you had. What was the injury? Was it in your ankle or was it more of the leg?
it was in my calf.
Calf, okay. What was that moment like in Pittsburgh when it happened and you went, you might have thought it's over. I'm done for the year.
Yes, so I felt it when I took off for my double layout in competition, day one of regionals, and I didn't know to what extent like the injury was. And so I was like, I don't want to tear anything. And
Right.
it was horrible because obviously it was day one of regionals. We needed to make it out of day one, and then we needed to make it out of day two too. And then my whole family was there, and it was just that moment sucked for sure. And I was unsure what to do for a second. If you see the video, you'll see like me continue to dance, and then I just kind of stop. So that was definitely unfortunate and not how I thought my regionals was going to go.
No, my wife and I were watching it live, and actually we were in different rooms because I was also watching baseball on another TV, and she texted me, Trinity Thomas got hurt, and I don't think she could eat the rest of the night. She was so upset about it, but and again, to come back though in that obviously the next round of the regionals and compete at least what you were able to do. I mean, how hard was that, and how unsure were you of what you were going to be able to do?
Yeah, so I was very unsure. It was really like day by day, literally. We were working on so many different treatment things and working with physical therapists and doing everything literally that we could to get me back out there on as many events as we saw possible. And so I took some time off of gym and just literally focused on recovering. And that ended up being super helpful because I got to get back out there day 1 and 2 on bars and vault for NCAA nationals. So that was exciting. Obviously not everything I would have wanted to do. Would have loved to be out there for all around, but I was just excited to be out there with my team and be able to compete one last time with them.
Yeah, and to also tie the record for tens had to be big. But I mean, I've watched all your meets this year. There were a lot of tens that weren't called. They were like strikes that were not called strikes. They were called balls. But to get that 10, I just can't imagine what was going through your mind. Did you know it right away it was going to be a 10?
No, I had no idea what they were going to do with that vault. I was just thankful to be on my feet and land a good vault to keep us in the running for the title. And so when I came up on that vault, I was like, oh, perfect, yay, like I'm so excited. And I ran back to my team and they were like, Trinity did it. And I was like, did what? Like, and they were like, you got a 10. And so I look and they were like tens up. So that was definitely a special moment. Pretty cool.
It's pretty amazing that you have the equivalent of what would be 5 gymnastics Grand Slams in your career, and that's pretty good. I mean, you've had tens and 5 times in all of them, and of course more on the floor. But it's just amazing how you've been able to do that. But I mean, to me, 28. I think maybe 34 or 35 would have been more accurate, because there were some where, and sometimes, do you ever know why they took off that one judge took off 1/4 of a tenth of a point?
Sometimes yes, and most of the times no. I don't ever see the what deductions they took. But most of the times if I like look back, I can be like, oh, they probably took this or maybe this. So I can like nitpick and rewatch my videos in slow-mo and things like that and kind of see what they're seeing from their perspective. But
Right.
yeah.
When people talk about you this way, and I do, I'm one of the people, I talked about it a lot on radio last week and this week, as one of the greatest athletes ever to play here. You're in the argument for best athlete ever. Is that humbling, or is it more, yeah, at least you got it right, Pat?
No, that's really humbling because I mean, just here right now, while I've been here, there have been some incredible athletes that have come through and before me, obviously, and there are going to be even more incredible athletes right after me too. So it's very humbling to be at a place like the University of Florida and be, I guess, titled as one of the greatest. Definitely special and a blessing for me.
And now named the Gymnast of the Year, too. Was by, I'm sorry, I'm looking it up because I College News, or I'm sorry, yeah. They named you the Gymnast of the Year. Do you get like a trophy for that, or do you get just like a certificate, or do they just tell you?
I don't think I got a trophy or anything for that.
We had a big debate on the radio of whether they should put a statue up to you in front of the O-Dome. And I said, well, somebody's had to come up with like $200,000 to do that. But I would be happy for it. I would be there if they did that. But now I'm curious what the rest of your life is going to look like. Whether you're going to get involved with the Olympics trials. Are you going to take you're already a graduate. You're getting a master's. You were what was it? Kinesiology and what was the other? Physiology, right?
Yes, so I have my bachelor's in applied physiology and kinesiology, and then I'm working on my master's in health education and behavior, and I graduate in May.
So you're basically going to be doing to people what people did to you for 5 years, right? You're going to be making sure that they're in good shape and you can get their muscles going the right way and stuff like that.
That's right.
Are you thinking about the Olympics at all?
It's something that's being thought about. I'm focused right now on figuring out what I'm doing next in school, actually. So I was accepted into the nursing school here, so that's an option. And I also applied to another master's program here as well. So just trying to like weigh my options and see what fits best for me and kind of what I want to do in the long run for sure. So yeah.
Let me go back to how you got here, Trinity, and that is why you decided on Florida. I think UCLA and LSU were the other two teams, and I don't even know if there is a gymnastics program at Penn State, which is, you're from that area. But I'm not, because I don't know it, I can see why you didn't go there. But what came down to that? Why did you decide to come to Gainesville and give us 5 years of really greatness?
Oh, well, I ended up graduating a year early, so I was only 17 when I was going to school, fresh 17 at that, and I made my commitment to Florida just a couple months before I stepped on campus to start classes. And so it was a long process though, like years that I was visiting schools, talking to schools because the rules were a little bit different before and you could talk to them a little bit earlier. And when I was young, I was like, I want to go to college somewhere warm. And I knew I wanted to go somewhere that had good academics and somewhere where I was going to be able to do gymnastics and thrive and have fun. And so when I got a little bit older and kind of understood more about college, I started looking at the ones that offered the majors that I was interested in. And again, I still wanted to go somewhere warm. I thought when I came here, I was going to be at the beach every weekend. That was not true. But but I got to the beach every once in a while, so that was still fun, and the weather here is great. But basically what really brought me to Florida was the family atmosphere. I come from a big family. I'm the oldest of five in my family, and so I was really looking for my home away from home. And when I came and visited Florida for my final time and was with the team that I was going to be with in just a couple months, I really felt like they were going to be my family. And that came to be true. And I chose the right spot, never regretted it a day in my life. And I've cherished all 5 years here, and I will remember them for the rest of my life.
Well, you have had so much fun here and so much of an impact on the community and so much of an impact on Gator Nation. But I mean, it's really kind of weird that you never were able to win the national championship. You won an individual national championship. And I've said this before, I think there is no sport that is more individual and more team-oriented at the same time than gymnastics. I mean, you think it's all just people out there by themselves, but the team aspect is incredible, and that's one reason I've always really enjoyed it. But again, twice you were injured, and once you had COVID. There was a COVID, so you couldn't compete for it. So I don't think anybody's looking at it that way. I think they're looking at it what you did more and what your team was able to do, obviously coming within percentage points twice in a row, 2 years in a row of winning a national title.
Yes, absolutely. I think what I've learned over the years is it's so much more than titles. And I think being successful is more than, whoever's standing at the top at the end. And the journey that I've been on here at Florida, I think it has been a successful one in so many ways. And I've just grown so much from being a little girl coming into a young woman now leaving. And I'm just thankful for all of my experiences and everything that I've learned and the people that I've met along the way, the relationships that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. So I definitely would say that success looks different for everybody, but for me, it was always more than a championship.
Yeah, so it's like literally no regrets. You've had a great 5 years, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, though. Now you're done with this season. What is your go-to food that you would never eat during the season that you can eat now?
What is my go-to food? I don't know. I don't really have a go-to food. I eat
Well,
fairly
that's
healthy.
why you weigh like 100 pounds. So, I mean,
Yeah, I eat fairly healthy, as is. So I don't like cut anything out. Like if I want to go and get some pizza or if I want a burger and fries, like I'll go get that every once in a while. So it's just everything's good in moderation.
And where's your favorite spot to go on the beach? And just before you answer this, know that I grew up in St. Augustine, Florida. So,
Well, I have been to St. Augustine quite a few times to the beach. So I don't really have a favorite spot. I just love the beach and I love watching the sunset on the beach. So any beach, really.
so the perfect job for you when you get through grad school will be like at Flagler Hospital or something, taking care of people, or where you could go to the beach every day. That's the way I grew up. So that was lovely. I would walk a mile with my surfboard.
Wow.
Yeah, I know it's hard to believe I could walk a mile right there. Yeah, last time I was actually in the gym, I had just got my knee replaced, and I stepped on that area where the cushions all go down, and I didn't know it was, and whoa! And I think my doctor kind of freaked out. He didn't even know what was happening. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I know you're trying to figure out everything with life going on and forward, but I've always been curious about your interaction with other Gator athletes and what sports you really like and what you're able to deal with, because I've always believed, and Dan Mullen's the guy who's kind of started this idea of the Hesser Center being for all the athletes to eat, so that they were rubbing shoulders with great athletes, and how much you've enjoyed that part of it, and how much other athletes have spent time with you and to try to figure out how to do things right.
Yes. So I think, that the Hesser Center has been great for interacting with people from other sports. And especially I was here pre-COVID and then post-COVID, and that in between area was so weird because it was kind of weird being around people again. And so now that isn't so bad anymore, it's great to go and interact with all the other athletes. And I know people from all the sports. And I have a lot of friends on the track team. So I like track a lot, or volleyball is great too. But I know people from a bunch of the sports. So it's a lot of fun being able to kind of we're in the same athletic world, but each of our sports are so different, and to learn from each other and to hear about their practices versus our practices is kind of fun too. So just to be able to come together and have something in common already, and then talk about whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah, I was trying to think if I think your quarterbacks were Felipe Franks, Kyle Trask, Emory Jones, and Anthony Richardson. I think I'm right about that. Because you had Felipe early, right? When Felipe was a quarterback when you first got to school here.
Yes, I think my freshman year.
Now, are you somebody who goes to football games and likes to go to football games, or do people bug you and you can't go?
I always went with my team. So it was always fun. Yeah.
All right. Before we let you go, Trinity, we play this game called Yes, No, Where, Maybe, brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteak. Street dining done the right way. If you go in there and mention that you watched or listened to another duly noted podcast, you get free fries with your order. Number one, sometimes you miss swimming because you were a really good swimmer when you were young.
No.
Not at all?
No, swimming was so hard for me, and it was not fun for me. So it was more for the physical. It was
cardio,
so that I could stay healthy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you miss track? Because you tried track for a while there too.
I love track. I do miss track. Yes.
Okay. So that was the wrong question. All right. Number two on Yes, No, Where, Maybe, Trinity Thomas. When you sit around at dinner with your entire family, it gets a little heated about who's the best athlete in the family, because there are so many great athletes in your family. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but your dad's a great athlete. All your sisters. I mean, it's just amazing to know how great the athlete. Does it get heated about who's the best?
No, not really. We all give each other our flowers.
Your dad was really a tremendous athlete, and your mom was too, right?
Yes, everybody, my mom, dad, all of my siblings are all tremendous athletes. My sister right now, that's right under me, is at Penn State. She's a jumper, so she does long and triple. And then the next one's looking for a school for diving right now. Then the other two are in high school and middle school, doing various sports too. So they're all amazing. So yeah. Do
you think it's genetics or the way you were raised, or both, or a combination of?
Definitely a combination.
All right, number three on Yes, No, Where, Maybe. Your favorite was always the floor, but now it's changed because you love the bars. I'm just going on a theory here.
No.
That's a no
My
way
favorite-
answer?
No, my favorite is still floor in college. for
Well, you only
sure.
had 10 tens there. Okay, that's only 10. Tens. But it's been fun to watch you, and I can tell you when my wife, I said, yeah, Trinity Thomas is coming on tomorrow. She goes, oh, I want to watch that.
Oh.
So she loves you too, and all the Gator Nation loves you. And I've enjoyed interviewing you. We've done a lot of phone interviews, especially during COVID, if you remember. We were doing interviews all the time because we were trying to come up with stories to write. We had to come up with something. But it's been an honor to cover you, and I appreciate your time, and good luck with your future, and we'll follow you no matter what you do, Trinity. And thank you so much for joining us here on another Dooley Noted podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, Trinity Thomas, or as some people call her, Trin. I never call anybody by their nickname if I don't really know them well, you know what I mean? Like, I used to get mad when people would call Anthony Roberson Peep. And I'm like, you don't know Anthony Roberson enough to call him by his nickname. Trin, that's what her teammates, coaches call her, people that know her, family. I call her Trinity, as in Holy Spirit, I guess. But what a pleasure to have her on. We have to take a break. We'll come back with all of our fun stuff that we always do, including the Adams Ribco to Go Gator of the Week, which last night I go, oh, there's one. Go find out who it is when we return on another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from another Dooley Noted podcast. This is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adams Ribco to Go. What gave you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place like this?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adams Ribco to Go. Come on down and enjoy it.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Bite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Albert, Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
As the oldest Gator booster club in the world, Gainesville Quarterback Club gives you access to elite speakers like coaches, NCAA football insiders, Gator greats, and more, including yours truly. Share your passion for Gator football with hundreds of other members at weekly in-season meetings, home game tailgates, and special events throughout the year. Join the Gainesville Quarterback Club today. Trial membership until April 11th only, featuring Billy Napier and Tommy Townsend. Email the club at membership@quarterbackclub.org. That's membership@quarterbackclub.org, or call me, and I'll let you get to the right people.
Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton: taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life, and the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans.
Okay, welcome back to another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios, and all big sponsors of the Bob Dooley Invitational. We appreciate everybody, and we're going to get to some other people that are sponsors of the Bob Dooley Invitational. And let us get right now, though, to the Hesser and Kipke three things. So I'm looking forward to talking about this. Hesser and Kipke, of course, if you know, is a Gainesville law firm specializing in the area of workers' comp and family law. And Ken and Jennifer take great pride in their one-to-one focus on each and every client they represent. Ken is board certified in workers' compensation law by the Florida Bar, while Jennifer possesses extensive jury trial experience with a nearly 20-year background as a prosecutor. If you don't believe me, check out their more than 55 five-star Google reviews. Or better yet, give them a call at 352-339-9920. 339-9920, Hesser and Kipke. All right, three things. Here we go. Number one, the NBA playoffs. There's too many things to talk about the NBA playoffs, and I know this town, and again, our listenership for this podcast goes all over the world. I mean, we have people in Finland listen to us, and Nigeria, and Argentina. So you may be really interested in the NBA, but in Gainesville, not many people are that interested, so it's kind of hard to talk about on the radio, but I'm interested in it, which is what matters to me. I've gotten to a point where I know about when the 4-minute mark's going to come up in the game, where there's going to be 4 minutes left, and I go, okay, now let's go watch. Oh, they're up 4. Let's see what happens. Now, I'm enjoying the heck out of that. If a game starts, there's no way I'm going to go, yeah, let me watch this for 2.5 hours. No, I don't care that much about anybody. But interesting what happened, obviously, with the Draymond Green situation. Yeah, he got convicted for past crimes. There's no doubt about that. Whatever, we'll see what happens with them. But I was also interested to see what Dylan Brooks, who's I think set a record for technicals this year, said about LeBron James, saying, he ain't nothing. He's an old man. Yeah, and so they talk a lot. Memphis talks a lot. I'm finding this out. All this stuff I'm finding out. It's like I'm getting introduced to the NBA in a week because I don't watch it during the regular season. But either he's trying to antagonize him and it's going to work because he's going to force things, or he's going to inspire him and you're done. It's a gamble, I guess, risk reward. 17 at TPC. Either go for the pin or hit in the middle of the green. But we'll see what happens there. But they're interesting, and it's so good for me to get reacquainted with players I saw in college. Go, oh, he's there. Because believe me, I don't watch the NBA during the season. I do love the playoffs, though. The last 4 minutes of every game. All right, number two, the Oakland A's are getting ready to move, it appears. They have bought a huge piece of property in Las Vegas. They've been playing in Oakland since '68. I have been to that stadium. I was there in 1984 covering a Jacksonville Bulls game. Yeah, 84. It might have been 85, but that was the 2 years they played there. I think it was 84. So anyway, I was there, and it was the worst stadium I had ever been in. This was in 1984. It's the same stadium, okay, at Oakland Coliseum. I'll never forget this story. Could be a Pat Dooley story time, but it's not that good. I had to find a payphone out in the concourse to call and make sure my story got in, and none of the payphones worked. I mean, none of them worked. And I smashed one up. Is Bell even a thing now? Southern Bell? No, okay. But I just smashed that phone to bits. And you know what? I guarantee you, if you went back to the Oakland Coliseum right now and you went to that payphone, it's still smashed to bits. I guarantee you they haven't fixed it. It's a dump. They need to move out of there. I hate to see a team move away from Oakland. And I don't know why I know why there's this great attraction to Vegas. I'm not a big fan of Vegas myself. I don't like to gamble, but everything seems to move. The NIT was there this year, for gosh sakes. Feels like everything is moving to Vegas. Not me, though. All right, finally, number 3 on Hesser and Kipke's 3 things. A lot of stories coming out that Bryce Young will be the first pick of the draft, and then they're denying it, Panthers, and then they're saying no, and everybody's saying yeah, but it is, and now they're not. Look, I don't think they can go wrong with Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. I think they're both good I don't think either one of them is a franchise quarterback, but I think they're good quarterbacks, good enough to get you in the right position. If you put enough players around them, you can win a Super Bowl. I got no problem with either one of those, and I think they have it. It's weird to me to listen to guys, and again, the draft is one of the most ridiculous things in the world because the build-up is just forever, and you get tired of it, and then people have to make up stories to make it different. Is how few wide receivers are being treasured and running backs being treasured. Everybody's like, we got to have a quarterback, and then you build around it, and so we'll see where everybody goes, and that includes, of course, Anthony Richardson. All right, that is our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Let's get to the Adams Ribco to go. Gator of the week. I wasn't sure who it was going to be because I really didn't have anybody. I was thinking, well, I may have to go with Cags again, but no. Emily Wilkie, you are the Gator of the week, brought to you by Adams Ribco to go. Last night against South Florida, hits a walk-off grand slam, 3-3 game. Nothing better than that, hitting a walk-off grand slam, and it was and got water dumped on her by Tim Walton, which is pretty cool. So, if she had waited a few days, we could have made it the play of the weekend. So, but Emily Wilkie, big hit for Florida to get that win against South Florida. South Florida's a good team, and they were going to play 2, but the bus broke down on the way here for South Florida on I-75. I'm sure they weren't happy. So they only played 1 game, but Florida won the game. All right, let us get to our Leonardos and Millhopper quick picks. I told you we were going to make a poll on this, and I did it earlier today when I was at the house. Right before I went, I had all the names pulled out, and the winner of this latest Leonardos poll is Stitch Turner. Stitch may have won before. I don't know if he has or not. But Stitch Turner, just get in touch with me. I'll mail you everything. Happy to do that. He is the winner of our Leonardos and Millhopper quick picks, and we'll have a new contest starting Monday. So that'll be cool. We're giving away a lot of $25 gift certificates. And in this case, I'm going to give you a hat from the Bob Dooley Invitational, too. That's pretty sweet. Actually, it was last year's, but you're going to get one. It's a hat I wear all the time, so I hope you like it. So Stitch, that's cool. Leonardos and Millhopper, we appreciate them. Another sponsor of the Bob Dooley, as is Adam. And Adam's going to be out there serving. Here's the thing. Here's what you get when you come to play in this tournament. You get breakfast brought to you by PDQ. You get food on the course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Ballyhoo Grill, many of our sponsors. You get Dakana ice cream. You get the Swamp margaritas. You get all this stuff, and then you get Adam's Rib to end it. So you gain weight in this golf tournament. And I always say if you don't get a little buzz on, gain some weight, or win a prize, you just didn't do it right. You didn't do it right because the prizes are unbelievable. All right. We are running late, so let's get to this, that, and the other. Brought to you, of course, by Ballyhoo Grill, where I was just 2 days ago. Had a nice fried gator there, which Bill Reichert supplies us for the tournament. And by Ironwood Golf Course, where the tournament will be, and by Darth Shakow Insurance. We appreciate Darth Shakow very much as well. This is slow play on the tour. It has been a problem for a long time. We've all talked about it. We talked about guys being on the clock. And now, what are we seeing in baseball where you have a clock and guys are getting called out and some of it's gotten out of hand. The umpires again taking the control, but maybe they need a clock in golf. You got to hit your shot when the clock runs out. You had a stroke. Well, that's not going to happen because golf's different. That is, we saw the Masters where the two guys who Kepka and Rahm, who were in the last group, had to wait 97 minutes on the tee in the final round total. That's ridiculous. That's me walking off the course. Now, I wouldn't with the lead in the Masters, but I would in some other places. And then the other came just this week when Cantlay said, look, I'm slow. That's what I am. But nobody's ever put me on a clock. Nobody's ever warned me. Nobody's ever said anything. I don't think they want to tick off any of these guys now. With all this LIV versus the tour stuff going, the last thing they want to do is make these guys play in a certain amount of time and go, well, I'm sorry, since you didn't play that fast, you didn't win the tournament. And then, I'm going to the other tour. I'm going to the other tour where they don't care. They play music, and nobody even cares if you win or not. I don't think slow play is going to get solved by what's happened with these two tours. That's my take on it. This, that, and the other. The Ben Eige Odell Realty games of the weekend. Let's get to those. Softball is playing at 4 o'clock on Saturday. It's weird. Softball has a Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Baseball has Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Softball 4 o'clock Saturday on ESPNU. Softball is on at 7 o'clock Sunday on the SEC Network and 7 o'clock on Monday night. That'll be great on the SEC Network. They're playing Tennessee. Big series for them. Baseball 7:30 Thursday night on the U, and then 7 on Friday on Plus, and Saturday at 2 o'clock on the Plus as well. The NBA, look, I'm not going to go through all the games. Saturday and Sunday, you got games from 1 o'clock to midnight. Both days. Just watch whatever you want. Some teams you care about, some teams you don't. I'll watch the last 4 minutes. We know that. I did want to mention SEC golf's going on this weekend as well. Gators up at St. Simon's Island. We'll keep an eye on how they do there. I'm sure some of it may be on the Golf Channel, but not a lot of TV there, but we'll pay attention to it. Women's tennis is also playing in the SECs. That's going on. By the way, the basketball is on ABC, TNT, and ESPN. We always like to give you the networks. And lacrosse with a home match against Vanderbilt Saturday at noon. If you want to go out and have a nice day and watch lacrosse, I've done it many times. It's really a lot of fun. That is our Ben Eige Odell Realty Games of the Week. And we wanted to bring you the House of the Week as well. It is in Bryson City. Bryson City is a newly renovated cabin that comes with 2 bedrooms and a brand new bathroom, along with a great front porch with mountain views and space for a hot tub. Close to Cherokee, Great Smoky Mountain National Park, and whitewater rafting. Listed for under $300,000. This sounds like a great deal. Well, we did it last Thursday, so it may be, or Friday. It may already be taken. Reach out to Ben Eige to find out more about this home. Of course, Ben Eige Realty. We appreciate him, and you know how to get a hold of him. beneige.com/Gators. All right, I think I'm running out of time. Let me give you a quick, and I don't mean to do this to not be reverential to East Lake Pediatrics, because they're sponsors of the Bob Dooley, but we're running out of time. Pat Dooley's Storytime, which is brought to you by East Lake Pediatrics. I'll tell you a quick story about the only time I met Dan Snyder, and it's relevant because just selling the Redskins now, and I've never been a fan of his. But I'm up there and I'm interviewing Coach Spurrier, and Spurrier's giving me run of the place, run of Redskin Park. He brings me into Marvin Lewis, who's his defense coordinator, and goes, "Hey, talk to our local guy here, Marvin." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, local guy. I'm from Gainesville." But Marvin was great. He was unbelievable. So I'm in there talking to Kim Helton, who was an offensive line coach. And all of a sudden I hear Coach Spurrier coming down the hallway, and he goes, "I think he's in here. And maybe with Marvin." And then he comes around the corner, and it's him and Dan Snyder. And he goes, "Yeah, here's our local guy. Dan, this is the owner." I go, "Yeah, I know he's the owner of the Redskins. And by the way, he's like Ryan Seacrest short." But so we talked for a little while, and I got along with him okay. And then he pointed out that Spurrier had in his wallet a headline that said, "Charlie Pell fires Spurrier Helton." And he kept that in his wallet after he fired him. And this was 79, before the 0-10-1 season. And he just laughed. And I was like, man, this is going to work. This guy gets Steve. He loves him. He's got all the money in the world. They're going to be good. And it didn't work. It didn't work at all. And it hasn't worked for Washington, whether you want to call them the Redskins then or the Commanders now. Hadn't worked for him as long as he's been the owner. 2 playoff games, a lot of coaches, a lot of quarterbacks. Glad he's out. I don't even want to get into the sexual harassment. I didn't see any of it when I was up there. I only met him once. But anyway, the point is, I just thought I would share that story with you. That's going to do it. Well, it's a long show. We went all along. Jared did a great job. And again, we'll post this show tonight, and then maybe next week we'll do another Thursday show. I don't know yet. I'm trying to see who I can get for Thursday. Until then, Monday, Coach Spurrier will be on. We know that. Till Monday, I am Pat Dooley. I am deep. I'm way back, and I am out of here.